Okay, everyone, welcome to In Groove, episode 3. We're talking about hip-hop and rap. In Groove is a music podcast that focuses on discussions of what else but music. Everything from the best sellers to the unknowns, and everything in between. Today I'm joined by my co-hosts Dan Griffin.
Hello.
And Ben King.
Heidi-ho.
As always, and our special guest, Britton Stepetic.
Hey.
Would you want to introduce yourself, or is hey suitable?
I guess I could say a little bit about myself. I'm Britton Stepetic. I've known my chaps here, Ben, Danny, and Jared, for basically all my life. Nice to be here with you guys.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Thanks for joining.
And like I said, did I introduce myself?
This is Jared White.
I'm Jared White, your host on In Groove. But we're talking about hip-hop and rap, one of our favorite genres this week. And surprisingly enough, our album this week is Bizarre Ride to the Far Side by The Far Side, an album that I say surprisingly enough because none of us had ever heard this album before.
No.
I heard a few songs.
I've heard a few songs before. And,
one or two sound recognizable. But
her in there, but
passing me by.
But I never heard the whole album, and neither had any of my co-hosts here. So we picked that as our album for the episode. We're going to be discussing that later, as well as giving album recommendations about hip-hop and rap. And at the end of the episode, we're going to do our per-episode top 5. This week we're going to do, because we're talking about rap, our top 5 favorite MCs/rappers. So stay tuned towards the end of the episode to hear that. But for now, I'm just going to launch into our general discussion about our genre. So anyone who wants to kick it off.
Yeah, I mean, for me, some of my favorite rap artists or rappers, as far as groups are concerned, I really like the Beastie Boys, Wu-Tang Clan. I mean, come on, how can you not like Wu-Tang? Seriously.
Don't mess
I
with
mean,
them.
they ain't nothing to fuck with. So.
They ain't nothing to fuck with. And, I'm a huge fan of Tribe Called Quest. There are a lot of great rap groups, especially in my opinion, from the early '90s. The jazz rap kind of movement. Other groups like De La Soul, the Jungle Brothers, to name a few. And then I like a lot of the Biggie Smalls. Obviously, you can't go wrong. Nas, N.W.A. Straight out of Compton,
Of course.
Yeah,
I mean, you're hitting all the bases there with all the classics.
And then obviously,
Illmatic is one of my favorites.
Oh yeah,
ever.
I mean, I think it's one of everyone's favorites. It's one of the first hip hop albums anyone now is gonna listen to.
Yeah, if you're gonna start listening to '90s hip hop, that Illmatic, Nas,
that's pretty much number one.
That's not a bad place to start. There's a lot in there. I mean, I would recommend Ready to Die. That's another one that you should. That's like one of the first ones you should.
Give me the loop. I'm sorry. I'm gonna sorry. But yeah, I just want to say, like, at one point in my life, I know all three of you can vouch. I just said no to rap, no to hip hop. I didn't want to listen to it.
It's true.
It's just bad.
You're not alone in that.
Because like I had the mullet going. I was headbanging to like every Zeppelin song in the book and everything. But what was it, like maybe a year or two ago, I finally just got into like I started with Beastie and I just moved on. And as you keep going forward, you find out that there's like these artists that they really had some impact on music itself. Like,
absolutely,
like Wu-Tang or Biggie, stuff like that. It's just their impact on the industry and stuff like that, not just on rap, but on a lot of things.
I mean, yeah, I come from the same boat because for an extended period of my younger years, I was incredibly elitist about music and never liked hip-hop, never liked rap, but never gave it a chance. When I for the first time, really gave it a chance, I realized I actually did like it. Ever since I've been really heavily into it. I think it's a really fascinating genre because it is one of the youngest genres.
Yeah.
mainstream genres around. I mean, you can dig into cubby holes and crevices of the underground and find genres popping up every day, but for such a huge cultural thing, it's like the biggest genre that's so fresh.
And they take on so many topics, whether it's from the past or the present or maybe even upcoming. They always take on some kind of topic or theme, and some of them nail it, some of them they're just ranting on. But I think there's one rapper I'll mention later that he's one of his albums, not my recommendation, but some of his lyrics, man, it's just crazy on how he goes from topic to topic. I don't know.
I mean, you really have a wide range of people in the industry and working in this genre now more than ever. But I mean, right from the beginning, you have hip hop starting out with very humble roots, but very quickly, things starting to happen and the genre moving very quickly. You go from the early 90s to the mid 90s, and like when Wu-Tang comes along, just totally changes the game. We were talking earlier about Only Built for Cuban Links, the Raekwon album from the 5-Year Plan.
Raekwon the Chef.
Raekwon the Chef, and just the influence that album had upon hip-hop culture. Just out of the blue, this album comes as part of the 5-Year Plan of all the Wu-Tang solo albums. Introduces this kind of Scarface gangster type of lifestyle into the hip-hop lexicon, and this thing just takes off. Nas, who has a guest feature on that album, borrows that for his persona from that point on. Mm-hmm. He alludes to himself as the Don continually. Biggie takes huge influence from that album and his whole image and persona, just him driving around in that car with the rings, and the whole image comes from just this one album that broke and hit big. And just to see a whole subculture birth so quickly from one album. I mean, it's so young and so fresh, and it's been so reported on that you can just see where everything comes from. You can trace everything back to its genesis, which you don't get in genres like the blues or even rock. There's some discrepancies in some things, but it's so young and so fresh that almost everything you can find the connections, which is fascinating for some people like us who like discussing music and finding those connections. But so yeah, we all like jazz rap. We all talked about that.
Yeah,
groups like Tribe Called Quest. I mean,
Brendan, you definitely as soon as you heard it come up, your ears they started to prick up, and they're like, oh,
I have
jazz rap.
I have a personal fondness for it. I was fortunate enough to have my friends, Danny especially, to pressure me into listening to rap, because I was definitely elitist about it and never gave it a chance.
Yeah, you were the same person for me too. You're like, just listen to Beastie Boys.
Yeah,
thanks.
I used to hear the Beastie Boys on the radio and want to change it, but then was too lazy to change the station. And then it was Danny who finally made me listen to the right Beastie Boys songs, and then told me about Tribe, and then put on Wu-Tang in the car, and would listen to the whole album, and he wouldn't change it, and I'm thankful for him for that, because
I mean, why would you want to change it?
Yeah, I can't change it now. I mean,
yeah,
there's no way.
Put that album on repeat.
Yeah, exactly.
36 chambers.
I was also a little bit in the same boat as well as you guys, believe it or not. I mean, I remember Eminem. He was really huge, when we were kids.
Slim Shady,
but. And 50 Cent, they were the big rappers.
Those are the 50 Cent is honestly one of the first rappers I really remember everyone being like, "Oh, this is so
in
great."
The club,
you gotta listen, In the Club and Lollipop. Those songs, those are probably some of the first rap songs I heard.
Yeah,
I mean, for that generation, 50 Cent was a huge image.
50 Cent and DMX, Ja Rule. I don't know. I wouldn't even put them in the same category as a lot of the rappers that are that we've been mentioning. But I kind of went away from it for a little while, and then I saw some documentary on TV. Oh no, it was the best rap songs of all time. It was a 100 greatest rap songs. How VH1 does those shows where it's the 50 greatest artists or whatever. So I decided to check it out, and through that, I discovered a lot of different songs and different groups and artists, and I developed an appreciation for it, and then I got, I tried to get, my friends into it, and yeah, I mean, it's funny that you mentioned the Beastie Boys, because, I mean, you could argue, I mean, they're a rap group, but they're very much a rock band as well. They're one of the bands, like, they're a group that, kind of fits in both genres very well. And I think they're a special case in that, in that respect. But, yeah, through that, and then you got to, somebody like Biggie Smalls, I mean, come on. Like, first time I heard some of those songs, I was like, oh my God. Like, lyrically, he was way ahead of his time, I think. And
yeah, I think with guys like Nas and Biggie Smalls, especially, too, I think of with both of their debuts coming out in 1994, you have just, I mean, those two guys, I think they mastered just the art of rapping, just rapping from the voice and the flow and the lyricism.
Absolutely,
just. It's effortless listening to those guys. The stories they weave so effortlessly with so few words, but yet like the perfect words to tell those stories. I mean, to tell a whole story in a 3-minute song or whatever. Never mind like Nas with some of those songs on Illmatic, to like craft the whole world, to give you this whole view of his childhood and this life he's grown up in. I mean, it's from there, from the genesis of rap, from the very beginning to there, you see already like a huge like jump in
absolutely
in complexity, in sophistication. Yeah. I mean, that's like the peak for, like I said, just pure rapping. I mean, new things are constantly always being introduced in terms of production and different styles and blending things. Now we just have like rap being blended with all kinds of things. Like, I guess rap rock with groups like Beasties and Run DMC would be the origin of that. But now you have rap being blended with classical and rap being blended with blues. I've heard rap being blended with folk, like
just about everything now.
Anything you know can get.
But you're right.
Together.
Yeah, but you're right. It's still kind of one of the most recent genres. I think it's really, rap has probably been in existence since around 1980.
And it's one of the easiest to experiment in, like you said, when it's like you just blend in like folk or punk or something like that into the rap. You can experiment with it pretty well.
Yeah, and because it was a genre that was born, like jazz, out of improvisation, out of freestyling, out of on the streets, just rapping what comes to your mind, it's very open to new innovation, new voices. I mean, every rapper just puts their new spin on an old, format.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's what's so great about those songs, where you just get the one boom bop beat and bunches of rappers just coming in, laying down their own rhymes. I mean, because you get different voices telling their own stories just through this one beat.
Right.
And that's hip-hop as a genre for me.
That's one thing, too. I love hearing how creative some of the samples can get, too. That's another thing that you can hear. Like, it would be like a sample of, like, I don't know, a fucking Tom Jones song. And you would think, Tom Jones and rap, that wouldn't work well. And then, like, you hear it, and it's like, wow, that's a great hook. Like, that's the hook of the song, I just love, like, how it really stimulates, the creative process of making... making a song. So
one of my favorites is right at the beginning of Check Your Head, when they grab the Cheap Trick live from Poop.
Oh yeah,
this is the first song on our new album. And really, it's the first song on their new album.
Yeah, I think they were talking about, like, they were playing like Surrender or something. It's the Live at Budokan.
Yeah, it's from Live at Budokan.
Cheap Trick, and then it goes right into Jimmy James.
Yeah. In Finger Looking Good, when the Bob Dylan song comes in.
Yeah, I love that. I just love
so
that.
Cool.
It's so spontaneous, but yet it just works.
Yeah.
It works.
I mean, in terms of sampling, that's a whole innovation brought about by the genre in its own right. I mean, just look at something like DJ Shadow's album Introducing, or a lot of DJ Shadow stuff. The album Introducing was done entirely out of samples. There's no recorded stuff in it, but just everything about it, it's new music.
Right. It definitely some of the most famous ones are when Wu-Tang would bring in the samples from like a samurai or a kung fu movie or
Yep.
something like that, and just hearing the swords clink
Or
together.
a lot of the, especially on License to Ill for the Beastie Boys, it's a lot of like Led Zeppelin samples. And like,
Oh yeah, lots of.
The ocean is in one, at least the beginning. Do.
That's in She's Crafty.
Yeah,
Right,
and
yeah.
of course the When the Levee Breaks drums
Oh yeah.
on that album, and
Yeah.
I
Lot of
mean,
stuff.
Slow Ride, when they kind of speed that up and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know what else to say at this point. It's just like
It's so,
like
you know.
like with every genre, we can sit here and we can name our favorites all day. We're gonna get to some of our favorites later, but it's like the only thing I can say is just again stress. Like I know me and my co-hosts here have expressed the same thing. We were at a younger age, very very against the genre, and I think it's something it is so new. It hasn't become 1,000,000% accepted into the culture. It's still sort of a counterculture thing.
Yeah.
Even though you
Yeah,
have this
definitely.
mainstream pop rap, which is becoming more and more pop oriented
Yeah.
as the days go by. Like I can see it happening before my eyes.
Yeah. But
Like a rap hit 10 years ago is far more hip hop oriented than a rap hit now. But I mean, you can say the same thing about country music. Country pop now is
Let's not talk
is
about
yeah.
pop music with a violin player jerking in the background. But
But with it being a counterculture, I think it kind of goes back to the 90s, especially when Biggie and the Biggie and Tupac thing happened and
Yeah.
everything. It definitely is kind of, you can consider it like a counterculture just because they had that huge image of gangsters. They're going around doing all these illegal things and everything. And that's
and
why
actually
it's
really doing it.
Yeah, exactly. And,
You have-
and
you
like
know,
it
when-
is frowned upon. That of course that public image is frowned upon. But when you actually delve deep into that culture and listen to the lyricism and all that kind of stuff, you find out these people actually know what they're doing. They're not just driving around and doing these terrible illegal things. They have a living off of rapping, and this is what they do.
Yeah, I think because it just from its beginning was immersed in a counterculture and in an underground thing. I think, and because it's so young, I think, like I was saying, it's still sort of not a mainstream, form in and of itself.
Yeah.
It's definitely adapted itself to the mainstream, obviously. There's definitely rap that is so commercial, and rap has become an industry. That's old news.
Yeah.
But I don't know, more than any other genre, I see so many creative things happening all the time in it that aren't at all, derivative in a way that feels repetitive. I don't see any monotony in the genre when you're looking at new voices, because I constantly see fresh ideas being brought up, new ways at looking at old ideas.
Constantly evolving.
And I think, like I said, that's just part of because it's so young.
yeah.
I think
I mean,
I think it's just great seeing like where some of these guys came from, and like especially like earlier rap where they're coming out of like New York City during the 80s when it was just such a shithole, especially in like Harlem and some of like the boroughs, and just like taking their struggles in their life and turning that into something like Nas's Illmatic, and just like expressing their life story out in this poetic form with these beats and like letting us experience it. It's just something like special that you have to appreciate too.
Oh God, yeah.
yeah. And
You got to look past the public image and just say they're telling a story about their life.
Yeah.
You got to appreciate it.
because rap it's the storytelling music. It's all about that rapper telling his story. I mean, you have great groups that are, have a kind of collective goal like the Wu-Tang Clan, but then I think at its core, it's about one guy, one mic, like the Nas song,
One
mic,
love.
one love, just spitting, rhyming, telling the truth.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't know, that's the only way I can put it. It's like directly from the artist to you in the most pure of way. And I think those early rap forms that were just so, like, you can almost say rudimentary in their instrumentation, it's just like, it brings the raps and it brings the storytelling to the forefront. And I think when you first hear stuff like that, it kind of takes you aback, especially when you're used to listening to more commercial music, which is very in your face in terms of production. The Phil Spector wall of sound, which it seems like
Yeah.
every single goddamn song is produced with now. it's just when you hear boom bop for the first time, it's like it sounds like a bunch of hobos in a room hitting on a bass drum and a guy, talking about what he did last week. But the more and more you listen to it, you grow accustomed to it,
Yeah.
and you realize what they're trying to do.
Mm.
So, in going along with rap, we listened to a rap classic that we had, surprisingly enough,
I've never heard of it.
never heard before. I've always wanted to listen to this album. I've heard a few songs from it.
Yeah.
But we finally sat down and listened to Bizarre Ride to the Far Side, which is the debut album by the jazz rap group The Far Side, released in 1992.
Mm.
Guys, knowing all we just said, how does this album play into that, and what did you think of it?
Well, I would consider The Far Side definitely one of the best rap groups in the '90s, in my book. I think they're up there with. I mean, I would say the best, like I said, are the three that I mentioned earlier, the Beastie Boys, Tribe, and Wu-Tang. But I would definitely, The Far Side are definitely honorable mention in my book. They had a lot of really, catchy, just rap songs with good messages, positive messages.
There's some really good lyrics in there, definitely.
Yeah.
That second song where they just come in right with the crazy scratches at the beginning, that hooked me immediately.
Oh shit, right?
And, yeah,
Oh shit.
and I just thought, I'm listening to this. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Got me hooked.
Yeah. And I love an album that is like just from the bat. Like this, I definitely felt it. It was compelling right from the intro. You know what I mean? Like I love an album that just draws you in, and I definitely it was a very gripping album, I think.
Yeah, you have a lot of humor in the album. A lot of most of the cuts are very, humorous, very lighthearted.
And it's a very original group too. I got that impression. Like I feel like sometimes rap groups try to copy other rap groups, but I didn't feel that. I never felt that way about The Far Side.
I mean, they're definitely in that jazz rap mold.
Yeah,
and you can compare them to De La, Freestyle Fellowship, Tribe Called Quest, all those groups that were born from that little collective.
Yeah, they don't copy each other. I
But-
think they just they take influence.
no,
from
I'm
each
not.
other.
I'm not
It's
saying that
influence.
this. Sometimes there are rap groups that
I think
try
more
to-
than even some of those classic, albums by those other groups. This felt like a party kind of album. This definitely felt like the kind of thing I'd throw on. Even something like Tribe Called Quest albums. They're a bit heady and a bit too nuanced for like a party. But this just seemed like straight up rapping, beats, scratching. Even the skits were very, very quick and very musically oriented. They zipped along. It was like this is a zippy album, zing, with one-liners, jokes, very party oriented. That's what I'm saying.
It definitely hooked you.
Yeah. It was definitely. I would definitely recommend it. It's funny. Like I was saying earlier, I don't think I could be wrong, but I don't think they have very many albums.
They had
looking right now, it's 4 main albums.
Yeah. So.
Burton, as a person who really enjoys jazz rap,
Yeah,
what are you thinking of this?
I mean, coming out of a jazz background to begin with, I used to play the saxophone.
Mm-hmm.
Still fiddle with it every now and again. But, I mean, I used to really only strictly listen to jazz for a long period. But this was like a perfect blending of the two, I found. It was a really solid album from start to finish. This starting out with "Oh Shit" just gets you really pumped and hooked right.
Yeah, it was
from
a
the
great
beginning.
tune.
Yeah, and even though half of it is "Oh shit," "Oh shit,"
Yeah.
you're just excited the whole time, which I think really continued out through the whole 56 minutes of it.
I mean, I think every rap album of this kind should start off with an "oh shit" type of intro.
Yeah.
That's them coming out and saying,
Yeah.
"Oh shit, you're gonna hear some shit. This is starting right now."
Yeah.
Bizarre Ride's the first.
I really liked that opening with the jazz piano, the passing chords. I was like, wow, this is. I just knew that's what really hooked
You
me.
wanted to get the first song, and they're like, all right, get this started, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I love you just hear those jazz piano riffs coming in, and then you just hear "oh," and then scratching comes in, and it's like
it definitely pumps you up. It's a
I don't know.
pump-up album.
That's synthesis in the best way. It's
Yeah.
like these disparate elements that just click in a perfect way. Jazz rap just, I don't know, it just makes sense.
hits hard.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
I mean, that's taken probably the two most adventurous mainstream musics and
Oh yeah,
putting
absolutely.
them together. So I mean, you got a winning combination right there right from the bat.
So yeah, definitely check that album out. Bizarre Ride 2.
Yeah,
Far Side.
I'd recommend
To the
it
Far Side,
to
sorry.
anyone who likes classic hip hop.
Yep.
Or anyone looking to get into classic hip hop. One of these days, we got to pick an album that we have some disagreement about, so we can have a bit of a debate. But so far,
So
and
good.
this one is no exception. We've been
Well, an
all
album,
loving this stuff.
an album we've never heard and then discuss it, or an album that we just already disagree
No, I'd
on?
like to one of these days listen to an album and have some disagreement. I like to toss the ball back and forth with you guys
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
on something that
Because
I'd be right and you'd be wrong.
It does happen off air. We do disagree.
Yes.
Maybe later in this episode there might be a bit of discrepancy about
We'll
something.
see.
We'll have to see. But any last thoughts on Bizarre Ride to the Far Side? Any things you're dying to say?
Oh shit! I haven't said it yet.
I second that. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Mr. Bob doubling it.
Different album.
Anyway,
Different
now we're
thing.
going to go through our album recommendations for the genre of rap hip hop. Once again, these aren't necessarily the best albums, the essential albums, the ones you must hear, but these are some albums that we personally really like.
You should probably listen to the ones we say.
And we think if you check them out, you'd really like them. And you might not hear them if we don't recommend them. So, AKA, check them out. Check it out!
What's it all about? Okay.
Dan, you want to kick us off?
Sure. Okay, so the two albums I have
Ow,
are...
that hurt. What? You kicked me.
Sorry.
Lil Wayne?
The two albums I have...
I know you like Lil Wayne.
Oh, yeah. You know you look like a Lil Wayne.
Jared looks like Lil Wayne for people who don't know us.
I'll upload a picture to the Facebook page, and everyone will see that I look like Lil Wayne.
So, yeah, these two albums are definitely from two of my favorite rap groups. The first one is Stankonia by Outkast.
Nice,
Ooh.
nice.
Huge fan of
I'm
Outkast.
so fresh and so clean.
Yep. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. To name a few.
Big hit there.
Yeah, they were getting back to what we were saying earlier. Outkast was huge when we were kids. Hey Ya, that song was everywhere.
That
Hey,
was middle school.
But I never considered I just thought that was a catchy pop song, and I knew a couple of their other hits.
Roses smell like poop.
Yeah, when Hey Ya came out, I thought, the album cover of Speakerbox,
Speakerbox,
Love Beneath, it's him sitting in the chair with that coat. I thought that was Outkast and it was one guy. I had no idea.
Andre 3000.
I thought he was Outkast.
Yep. And I
I was fucking stupid.
Yeah, I kind of consider them maybe an R&B pop group. I really had no idea. I went back and listened to some of the albums Aquemini.
Yep.
And some of the other stuff, which also has a Raekwon song on that album.
Yeah.
Definitely gotta check Outkast out. Definitely one of my favorite rap groups.
Which album is this?
Stankonia. It came out, I believe, in 2001. Because Miss Jackson is on that album. I think that came out around 2001. But yeah, definitely check it out. Stankonia, Outkast. And the second one I have came out in 1993, and it is Black Sunday by Cypress Hill. Cypress Hill is the typical stone. If you guys like weed, that's what everyone says. The stoner rap group.
That is the band for you.
Yeah, I mean, they have a song called Dr. Green Thumb, just take a guess what that's about, it's not about...
Green peas?
Yeah, it's not about...
It's about a gardener, right?
Yeah. So Black Sunday, yeah, it has a couple of their hits, Insane in the Brain is on there, if you guys know that song.
Insane in the membrane.
Yes.
We're insane in the brain.
And, a couple other ones. When the Shit Goes Down, I'm a big fan of that one.
That's a good one.
I love the clean version, When the Ship Goes Down. I'm serious, that's a whole different spin on it. And they have we were talking about a unique group. Cypress Hill is certainly unique. There's no other group that is even remotely like Cypress Hill. The beats are just very original. You can tell when you hear...
They're funky.
Yes. Yeah, you can tell when you hear like a song, it's like, oh, this is Cypress Hill, and then Be Real with this flow, and it's like this, and like, you know.
Cypress Hill, I don't know. This is like just the weird way I think of it, but this is an analogy. Rage Against the Machine is to alternative rock what Cypress Hill is to 90s hip hop.
Yeah,
I don't know. They just seem like they don't give a fuck.
They
And that's like what's kind of cool about them. It
Yeah.
seems like a bunch of dudes in a basement and just like chilling out. You want to rap today? Maybe. I don't know. Let's sing about a brain. I don't know.
Is it in the
And then it's just like, wow, this is
membrane? Yeah.
pretty cool.
Let's write a song about how we could kill a man. You know, that's on the album before, How I Could Just Kill a Man.
What would be the clean version of Shit Goes Down? Probably a ship.
I just think that's awesome when the ship goes down.
I mean, When the Ship Goes Down isn't a bad rap hook.
No,
Yeah.
you better be ready.
Hey, get
So-
my brown pants.
Yeah, so those are my two albums: Stankonia from Outkast and Black Sunday from
All right.
Cypress Hill. So
Ben.
So my first one is from Pete Rock and CL Smooth, the main ingredient.
Nice. Good pick.
Now, what like my favorite song on there is Caramel City, and I just think the way Pete Rock and CL, not to make a punny or anything, but it really is such a smooth and it flows so well. The whole album just flows so great, and the beats and the rhymes and everything. It flows, and it just all comes together for this such an amazing album.
they're definitely very underrated in my book.
Yeah, I think the fact that they were short-lived sort of hindered their, staying power. I think if they had kept going, they probably would have had more hits and become more and more legends. But they're still legends as they are. I mean,
Pete Rock
they're
became
two
a pretty
LPs.
big rap producer. I mean,
That's true.
he produced "The World Is Yours" on Nas' Illmatic. And I'm a big fan of. I don't think it's on that album, but the song "They Reminisce Over You."
Oh, rap classic. It's on
Yeah.
the first album.
Troy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that album, Main Ingredient, I mean, I was saying earlier about I find some rap albums, when they get up to the hour 15, hour 20-minute mark, some of them are overstaying their welcome.
Yeah.
But that album, I if I remember correctly, was pretty long, over an hour, around.
It's like an hour 5 minute maybe.
Yeah, but
That's pretty long.
it never wears old on me. That
No.
that album, I listen to it, I'm engaged the whole time.
Every
I don't know, the flow is so smooth, the production's so great.
Every song sounds fresh and cool.
Yeah, and almost every song sounds like a hit. There's no
don't
filler.
Yeah, you
there's
don't
no,
mind getting to the next song, even if it is like an hour.
Yeah, there's no shitty fucking skits. There's no crappy instrumental. Like, there's no remix songs on there. It's like straight up hit after hit. I mean, they weren't all hits, but you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Pick up what I'm laying down.
Yep.
Okay, I'm putting it down, picking it up.
Yeah.
What's your next album, Ben?
My next album is from one of the best rap groups around, and you can find them on the late night shows. Jimmy Fallon.
The Tonight Show.
Tonight Show.
Get your fucking show straight. Late night is Seth Meyers, asshole.
Sorry.
Paul Schaefer made a rap album?
No, but
Hey, Dave, I'm here to say. Late night, every day.
but
That would be horrible.
I'm going with the Roots. If you can.
Which
find
one?
The Roots Organics.
Oh, the debut.
That is one hell of a debut album. It's got this really funky kind of beat to it. It does. I don't want to say jazzy feel, but I don't know. There's
Yeah.
There's
Roots early stuff is definitely jazz rap.
There's something to it that gives me a jazzy vibe. Not at the beginning of the album, but later on, I can definitely hear. But
Also,
something like "Pass the Popcorn." Oh,
Popcorn?
They're going from rapper to rapper to rapper to rapper to rapper. It's like, wow.
Popcorn.
Yeah, well, yeah. They're passing the popcorn around to rapper to rapper to rapper to rapper.
I'm sure that the live band, how the Roots are, actually live instrumentation and everything plays into that jazz sound. Like,
Oh God, yeah.
more than other bands.
Yeah, and we could definitely go on with the Roots, but just Organics in itself. I don't know why I picked that one. It's just that I think that one's not
not
as
talked
well.
about as
Yeah,
much.
it's not like something like What is it?
Things Fall Apart.
Things Fall Apart, or like Phrenology or something like that. It's not as
Yeah.
Organics isn't as talked about, and I definitely think if you're a Roots fan, Organics is a must. You gotta listen to it. So yeah, Pete Rock and C.O. Smooth, main ingredient. The Roots Organics. Bryn Stepedic. 2 recommendations of rap albums, please.
Yeah, so I've been listening to a lot of like combination stuff, which we talked to earlier, and I've been really into like some like alt rap, especially Chitty Bang, who does like the producer and the rapper thing with Chitty and Zafoon. And the album that I'd recommend for that is Breakfast. There's some good stuff on their debut, but Breakfast is really good. There's some great tracks, and they have some great guests who come in.
Anybody notable for those guests?
Well, on their first album, they have Q-Tip who guest starred.
Ah, no kidding.
Yeah, and he sings, he doesn't rap.
He just actually
Yeah, he
sings.
does vocals, yeah.
Cool.
And
So it's fairly new.
an Iconopop who just kind of got big like last year with that Driving Into the River song or whatever.
I think I heard that around.
Crashed our car into a bridge, or I don't know.
I think I
Whatever
heard
that
it.
Some song about crashing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
They're
a
in a
guest
car.
on there, but
You got Google, look it up.
yeah.
Or Bing, if you're Andrew Garfield. But go on.
And then for my second recommendation, the Constellations' first album, Southern Gothic.
Yeah, you've mentioned them a lot.
Yeah, I've been mentioning them to Danny. On their first album, the singer does a lot of like rap fusion with kind of like southern rock and roll, but also with kind of like Jackson 5 feel. In their second album, Do It For Free.
Yeah.
They have some stuff that's kind of like rap, R&B, and this interesting fusion. So it's not every song that is like has a rap base, but he has quite a few that are. So it's an interesting thing to check out if you're in the mood.
I like fusion, so I'm gonna get it. I might give him a listen later on. I like the fusion kind of stuff. Yeah. What? What?
I'm glad you're interested, Ben.
Yeah, I am interested.
That's great that Ben's interested.
I'm
Hopefully
interested.
all of you are too.
I
I'm
really hope
interested-
he's interested in my picks.
I'm interested in your pick, Stan.
Stankonia?
Yeah. Well,
Get your stank on?
I've tried to. I've been wanting to get into Outcast, but regardless. Jared White recommendations.
Yeah, so I was thinking, oh man, there's so many rap albums I want to recommend to the good people listening at home. There's just so many. I want to recommend all the Roots albums. I want to recommend Nas's stuff. I want to recommend... there's so much stuff I want to recommend.
It's like endless.
Yeah.
Endless. Like any genre that I love. But I thought, this is how I'm going to do it. I like the old school stuff. I like the new alternative stuff. I'm going to recommend an old classic and a new classic. I mean, my new classic is 13 years old, so it's not like, hot off the presses. But it's new. So for my old classic, I'm going with De La Soul's Balloon Mind State.
You've told us about this.
I mean, I'm going to say it. I've said it before. 3 Feet High and Rising is great.
Yeah.
De La Soul is Dead is a strong follow-up. Balloon Mind State is perfect.
Oh, bold.
Perfect. I mean, Prince Paul's production sounds better here than before. These beats are so tight. There's so many jazzy songs on this. Every time I listen to this album, I think of Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing. It sounds like that movie. I don't know, especially the track Blowin', I believe it's called. Very jazz-based with the sax solo from Missy All. I mean,
Balloon Head.
Isn't the track Break of Dawn on that album?
Yeah, Break of Dawn.
I'm a big fan of that song.
great song. I mean, like I said, their first 2 albums are really good, and all the albums that came after are really good. But this one just stands out to me as their peak. I love it.
Nice.
Right, gotta check out the rest
Check
of
it
the
out.
album.
Yeah.
And my other recommendation, I felt like I couldn't go without recommending this. So I'm bringing it up. This is one of my favorite rap albums. This is from 2001, Aesop Rock's Labor Days.
God, I knew it.
I mean, I just gotta say, not to get ahead of myself, But Aesop Rock, I mean, is just
He's
one of the great MCs.
Mind blowing.
Mind blowing. And I mean, this album is like very conceptual. It's about the working class. It's about getting your hands dirty. And it's like the most intellectual, philosophical rap album you're going to come across.
He is so freaking passionate.
He's
so mad at everything.
Yeah, and his lyrics are just the most incredibly dense.
Yeah.
Ever. I can sit with them all day. And the beats on this, most of it is produced by Blockhead. I mean, the guy just knows his way around production. It sounds so tight. Every song's a winner.
Good, I know.
It's a winner.
It's tough to talk about.
I mean, anyone who's heard it is gonna agree with me.
They're
gonna be like,
I absolutely agree.
Fucking Aesop Rock.
There's a lot of good Aesop Rock, but Labor Days takes the cake.
So that's De La Soul, Balloon Mind State, and Aesop Rock, Labor Days. But now, come to our top 5 portion of the show. We're going to be talking about our top 5 favorite rappers / MCs / frontmen of rap. Or maybe a woman. I doubt it. I mean, not that there aren't good female MCs out there, but I mean, does anyone have a woman on their list?
No.
Queen Latifah is honorable mention for me.
All right.
No, I'm joking.
Gotcha.
Props out to all the ladies in the genre.
Hey, ladies!
Get funky.
I have huge respect to any female
I was driving with
artist.
my mom today, and that came on. She's like, You performed the Beastie Boys. This is the Beastie Boys, right? Yeah, I performed Mr. DHS. Yeah, I like them. They're good. I'm like, oh, thanks, Mom.
Ben's mom, everybody.
Woo!
Love it.
Wait, can I tell one more story? It's about Danny.
No.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so before you pressured me into like Beastie Boys and everything, my favorite was when you tried to get me into rap because they would mention Spider-Man, Batman, or anything from comics. Like,
Well,
you like this song? I'm like,
it's
why?
true.
I'm like, why? Well, they mentioned Batman. How many times? Once. They mentioned Batman once, but it's like 3 minutes into the song, so you gotta listen to the whole
So
thing.
Ben was like, "Can you burn me a CD that just has
The word.
all the parts where they mention superheroes?"
80 minutes of Batman,
That was
Batman.
the only thing. I look back on that, I'm like, wow, that
Because
happened.
I remember like "Protect Your Neck" by Wu-Tang, swinging through your town like your neighborhood Spider-Man.
Exactly.
Like, you gotta hear this, and he's like, "What?
Spider-Man.
I don't like rap."
Spider-Man.
Yeah,
But anyways,
He's wearing a
top 5.
Captain America t-shirt right now as we do our podcast, so
Cap.
the man's a fan.
I'm a fan. All right, so we
Let's launch into our top 5s, Ben, because you're so talkative. Do you want to kick it off?
Oh man.
can I kick it?
Yes, you can.
So like,
Man, we should have made a goal to make references to song lyrics in this podcast. Though we seem to be doing a pretty good job of it anyway.
Can I get it?
so I gotta admit, I can't talk about them like as like analytically as like the albums or just the whole genre in itself. So I'm just gonna name them off, but I mean I'll talk about them real quick, but just a fair warning. So my top 5 in no particular order. They just came to mind as soon as I thought of top 5. Aesop Rock, actually he's probably number 1. MCA from Beastie Boys, Nas, Biggie, and Old Dirty Bastard because he likes
Really?
because he likes a bro.
I love Old Dirty
I
Bastard.
do too.
Yeah.
Of all the Wu-Tang, he's probably my favorite.
See,
with the Jizz Are Falling Up.
See, it's funny
Quick second,
when
but-
people bring up Wu-Tang and then you ask them like, have you listened to their solo stuff? Like, not really. I'm like,
Shimmy, shimmy, yeah!
shimmy, yeah.
Brooklyn
Like,
Zoo.
but just first of all, if you like Wu-Tang, just give it to
That's-
someone.
Hey, baby, I got your money, don't you know? Hey,
That song may sound familiar to you because someone auditioned to American Idol with that song. One of my favorite auditions ever.
Classic. But
and I shared this trivia with you the other day. The wonderful lady who sings that hook in that ODB song is Khalees, former wife of Nas.
Yeah.
wow. But anyways,
Wow.
Jeff. But regardless,
I gotta say, it's a strong top 5.
I think those. All right, so Old Dirty Bastard because I just like his stuff in Wu-Tang.
Oh yeah.
especially on that first album. You know it's him. You know it's him.
His rhymes definitely stand out on
Oh
that
my
album.
god!
He's
Yeah,
got
it's
such an interesting flow.
He
Like,
just makes me
Especially
laugh.
on
Makes me
Shame
laugh.
on a
shame on him, nah.
Yeah,
Shame on a No.
Shame on him, nah.
yeah.
Great radio edit.
Yeah,
It's almost as great
Here's-
as Ship Down.
yeah,
the ship
it's up
goes
there
down.
with the ship goes
I think
down.
it's even funnier because it doesn't
It
make
is
any
funny.
actually any sense.
No. But regardless, yeah, Old Dirty Bastard. Who else did I say? Oh, Biggie and Nas. I put together just because I
Yeah.
listened to them just back to back, and again, Illmatic is one of my all time favorites for album.
That's an
wise.
amazing album.
I've listened to it way too many. I just love it. And Ready to Die is iconic for a reason.
Yeah.
Just give me the loot. I said it earlier, but just keep giving me the loot. And
You were saying it like, give me that cake from,
oh boy,
Cut
But
the
no,
cake.
Cut the Cake,
Cut the
Average
Cake.
White Band.
Oh
But
god.
I put those two. MCA, Adam Yauch, God bless his soul, rest in peace, brother. But he was always my favorite.
You have a lot of
Beastie.
dead guys on your list.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
no,
Three, right? Three of them are
3 out of the 4 so
past.
yeah,
far. So 3 out of 5.
No, 3 out of 5.
Biggie's
Yeah.
dead, MCA's dead. Who's the
And Old Dirty Bastard.
ODB.
Oh yeah, but yeah, there's something about MCA. I don't know why him in particular that I liked. I mean, I love Ad Rock and Mike D, but it's something to
You like the
MCA's
raspier voice.
Yeah, I like-
from
yeah.
high.
I think it is that just that raspy. His stuff on Paul Revere, real quick.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love his part in Paul Revere. It sounds really good. But no, I think it's just it really is his voice. So yeah, and then there's Aesop. So and like I said, Aesop's mind blowing. When I got into him, whoo! He's abstract. He's conceptual. He just knows what he's talking about. He knows how to rap. So.
That's an understatement.
Yeah.
Um,
I know, but regardless, mind blowing. But
Yeah.
Top 5. Yeah.
Nice picks.
Brendan, Dan, who's up?
I'm not gonna do 5 because there's just too many,
True.
and
Well,
I'll be
stuff.
general about some. But I have a particular fondness for Ad Rock.
Oh, yeah.
He just gets me every time though.
Oh, man.
Like,
Yeah,
he's just so funny.
I really
know.
like his style is very unique.
Yeah, it's perfectly hit.
You know, like Mike D, his voice is just naturally high, but Ad Rock he just raps nasally, and it's like great. No one else sounds like him, And that's the thing about that group. They really complemented each other so well. They had such amazing chemistry.
Like the Rolling Stones said about the magazine when they reviewed License to Ill. 3 idiots make a masterpiece.
3 idiots.
That is so true. Or like that classic video that you shared with me of them on the Joan Rivers show.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Which, if anyone hasn't seen that, after you listen to this show, because you're going to listen.
And they do a great performance of Time to Get Ill.
Time to Get Ill.
And Fight for Your Right, I believe. Yeah, I'm sorry, Britton. So
No,
Ad
thank
Rock,
you.
What you were saying?
Yeah, Ad Rock. I have a general love of the Roots. Busta Rhymes. Just
Yeah,
like
we haven't mentioned him.
Wow.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's just something about his raw energy that just
God.
like hooks me, and it's like
Hooks a
almost-
lot of people.
Yeah, it's just
Energy.
like this hypnotic kind of feel. Like you're just kind of like entranced when he's like rapping.
His verse in Scenario by Tribe Called Quest.
Oh, yeah.
Enough
Scenario.
said.
Yeah.
Enough said.
What's
exactly.
the scenario?
And then my last one, I'm gonna say, is Q-Tip. He just makes it effortless when he raps. It's just so calm and like a lot of people I feel like don't have that same kind of feel. Like he's just got this like voice that just kind of like is easing and like kind of like I don't know, like not comforting, but like compared
I
to
know
like
what you're saying.
Phife Dawg, it's just like relaxed and chill, and especially compared to Busta Rhymes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Fife Dog is pretty in your face.
like Q-Tip is the Miles Davis to Busta Rhymes Coltrane. I mean, it's like...
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
It's one hell of an analogy.
Yeah, I'm going to put the trademark on that one right now.
Yeah, there you go.
Put
Copyright Jared.
That, put that one on a t-shirt.
I might.
Who would Fife Dog be? Mingus or something?
He might be,
Bah. Okay, sorry.
He might be some other jazz.
John Thor.
Yeah. Okay, Jared?
Jared.
Yeah, I gotta say, honorable mention to Nas. I felt like someone else would mention him, so I was like, I'm really fighting between him and my number 5, so I'm gonna throw him out for now so I can get somebody else in the discussion, but I knew somebody else was gonna mention him. Nas, he's great. He's as good as these other guys I'm gonna mention. Number 5, I'm going with Vast Air. He is one of the 2 MCs from the legendary alt hip-hop group Cannibal Ox. I mean, and this guy's featured. He's featured on Aesop Rock's Float on the track, Attention Span.
Nice one.
Just, I don't know, his voice, like, more than any other rapper, I immediately know his voice. Oh, that's fucking Vast Air. And there's nothing, like, really unique about it. He's got a raspy voice, but it's, like, just, like, the way his rhymes, just, his flow is just, it's so unique, and I can't even describe how, but I mean, just for the fact that, like, he's so instantly recognizable for me, and I love hearing him every time he pops up. And that Cannibal Ox album, The Cold Vein, is, I dare say, a masterpiece. Number 4, I mean, we've had some mention of the Roots throughout the show. I'm going with Black Thought.
Ooh, yeah.
Can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong with Black Thought. I mean, listen to, off of Rising Down, there's a track called 75 Bars, where Black Thought raps for 75 straight bars of music. It's an assault. It's a straight up assault. Or listen to one of their newest singles, When the People Cheer, and his verse that manages to deconstruct the entire hip hop image mythos in like two verses. It's sad, it's introspective, but it's also like just fucking smart. I love his voice. He's got a gruffness to it now that he didn't used to have. He's definitely working with his age well. He's just gotten better, I think. Number 3, I gotta say, this is a really unconventional pick. I'm probably the only person who has this guy on his top 5. I'm picking MC Ride from the legendary experimental hip-hop crew, Death Grips. Death Grips have released 4 albums so far. I would dare say it's the most, like, intense, experimental hip-hop music that you can find, or at least it rivals Dialect. But MC Ride literally sounds like a crazed hobo on bath salts.
Wow.
Like, coming after you at his scariest moments. And at other times, he just sounds like a motherfucking badass. I mean, I will admit, MC Ride is not the best if you really want to just listen and be able to get into lyricism, because it's hard to tell just what he is saying most of the time. But if you follow along with your lyric book, you know, and listen and read at the same time, oh my god, the stuff he talks about and the way he talks about it, it's like, that's some scary stuff. I mean, and if this guy did guest features, like, I would love to hear it. I would love to hear him guest on just like some straight up boom bop song, and him just like, I don't even know what it would sound like. It would just, if he did that, he would be one of the instantly recognizable voices, but because you're not going to hear him outside of any Death Grip stuff, he kind of falls out of the running on that. But crazy. No one else is anything like him. He's, like, you think Busta Rhymes and ODB are off the chain, like, this guy, like, broke the chain, threw it into the water, like, ran across the earth, and on bath salts.
Okay, Discursive. Oh, man.
Just listen to Hacker, where he uses the line, "Now we've got all the coconuts, bitch," and it's the best thing ever.
You gotta send that to me later.
A song where the hook is, "Teaching bitches how to swim. Teaching bitches how to swim. Teaching bitches how to swim." Anyway.
What a hook.
It's a great hook.
The hook always brings you back. I ain't telling you no lies.
Well, hey, we were talking about the Roots and Jimmy Fallon, so I guess that kind of
Yeah.
ties in a little bit,
Anyways,
so.
this is your number 1 or number 2?
Number 2.
Who does he work for? Austin Powers reference. I'll be here all night.
Sadly.
Yeah. Number 2, I'm going with MF Doom. His best work, definitely on his collaboration with Madlib, Mad Villainy. I mean, this guy, his voice is cool, it's dark, it's low pitched, it's got a bit of a roughness to it. His flow is really interesting. You can almost call it stilted at times, his pattern of speech, but so cool. And just some great lines on this album. Got more cheese than Doritos, Cheetos, or Fritos. Got more soul than a sock with a hole.
Got more rhymes than Phyllis Diller. Oh, sorry. That's the Beastie Boys. Got more bitches than Abe Vigoda.
Yeah.
Got more rhymes.
What's the one about paint? Got more than Picasso got paint.
I got more dreams than Picasso got paint.
No, rhymes. Right. I got more rhymes than Picasso got paint. It's rhymes.
But none of those were MF Doom.
Right.
Those were MCA.
Also, to anyone listening out there, is there an official answer for what MF stands for? Because for years I just assumed it was motherfucker, but then I'm not sure if it's motherfucker or mad flow or metal fingers or metal faced. I actually don't have any idea. Or is it an all-encompassing acronym?
Meadow flower. No, I don't know.
No, why would it?
I don't know.
I'm gonna hit you.
Metal Flower Doom. Yeah.
Meadow flower.
Scary rap name.
But yeah, I mean, this guy, he wears a mask and he... What?
I found it. So, MF Doom is a producer and rapper. When he is contributing as a rapper, the MF stands for Metal Face, but as a producer, it is Metal Fingers.
Huh.
Metal face and metal fingers. I mean, I know he has both. I still like to think it's motherfucker because he's a motherfucking badass.
Motherfucking Doom!
Yeah, I mean, what is a better rap name than motherfucker Doom?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, Metal Fingers Doom is still alright. Metal Face Doom.
I love motherfucking Doom.
I mean, he's great.
The game. Yeah. Anyways.
And just, while we're talking about him and Mad Villainy, Madlib is a great producer. And my number 1, I mean, Ben already mentioned him on his list.
Mm-hmm.
Aesop Rock. I mean, number 1. Definitely. I dare say that Daylight is my favorite, rap song ever. Just, period. Where he says, I didn't invent the wheel, I was the crooked spoke adjacent. I mean, he manages to be incredibly obtuse at times, and if you're not willing to, buy into his extraordinarily complex lyricism, I can see you just getting frustrated. But at the same time, if you just sit back and listen, just his voice, just the timbre of his voice, just his flow, just everything about him, I have no beef with him. And I more than any other rapper, I love following along with the lyric book. I love, really digging into it. It's endless mysteries and endless interpretations.
I love it.
I gotta say, I saw him live last month. I was pressed against the stage. He was about, within, distance of my hand. I could have reached out and touched him. I saw him with Kimya Dawson doing The Uncluded, which is their debut album, Hokey Fright, is fantastic. But,
Fantastic.
I gotta say, he blew me away live. He's just as good as on the record, which isn't the most common for rappers. I gotta say, that's all I have to say.
Dan. Now, before you go on, we're both wrong. It's I got more juice than Picasso got paint. But you know what's a better rhyme there in that same song? If I played guitar, I'd be Jimmy Page. The girl is alive.
I'm underage.
Check it! Okay, Dan, top 5 rappers, if you would.
Good impression there, Padrock.
Thank you. You do a way better one.
Okay, so my number 5 is we talked about him briefly, but I've always kind of had a special place in my heart for this guy. Number 5 for me is Eminem.
Nice.
Why is
his-
Special Place, if I may ask?
Well, because that's one of,
Nostalgia.
yeah, that's part of it. I remember hearing songs like "The Real Slim Shady" on the radio as a 5-year-old, and like songs like that. I mean, I know what a good song to hear when you're 5 or whatever, but like no, I just remember like
Oh, when I was a 5-year-old, I loved listening to Kim on repeat.
yeah, cleaning out my closet. The thing about him is I feel like a lot of his songs are very they're little depictions from his life, like cleaning out my closet. It's basically about how his mother was like horrible to him. She pretty much tried to kill him. Like she would put like detergent in his cereal and like fucked up stuff like that.
Wow,
Yeah.
I never knew that.
But also always take into account that Eminem, his whole thing is he plays characters.
Yeah.
He has different characters
Stan.
that he plays. There's-
Enough said. Stan.
I mean, just the
Masterpiece.
Slim Shady persona, which is on all of his albums, I think, except Recovery.
Yep.
I mean, he's just like, yeah, he plays characters.
Absolutely. For me, yeah, he's definitely. I've always liked all like his stuff. He's stayed pretty consistent over the years, but especially the first 3-4 albums in my book are like pretty flawless. Okay, number 4. Okay, it's a member of Wu-Tang. I have 2 members of Wu-Tang on this list. Number 4 is Method Man. Big fan of Method Man.
M-E-T-H-O-D.
Man, M-E-T-H-O-D, man. A lot of great stuff with the group and solo, and also with Redman, another great 90s rapper.
Yeah, shout out to Redman.
Redman,
He was close to getting on my list.
Yeah.
Great rapper.
they are a duo that they complement each other very well, and their style is just unreal. So definitely Method Man, probably one of my favorites from the Wu-Tang Clan. Number 3 is the RZA from Wu-Tang.
Nice.
I mean, you could say he's more of a producer, which in a way he is, but
Yeah.
I love his flow. No one else, you were talking about ODB. In my book, no one else sounds like the RZA. Just his style and flow, and the lyrical content that he puts out there is just, he's unique to say the least. So, yeah, so those, definitely Method Man and the RZA are like probably, definitely my 2 favorites from the Wu-Tang Clan. And number 2, Britton mentioned him, Q-Tip from Tribe Called Quest, and
Represent.
Groove is in the Heart. If he's the rapper in that embarrassing song. I'm just joking. He did. I love his collaborations. Like on the Beastie Boys' Ill Communication album, he does an unbelievable track called "Get It Together."
Yeah.
One of my favorites on that album, and
My favorite. Yeah.
it's like a very collaborative song. It's like he's with the Beastie Boys. Like it's not the Beastie Boys and Q-Tip, if that makes sense. It's these 4 MCs, and they're just one of the best like loops in beats that are like I could listen to that day on and day on. Like it's just unbelievable. And a lot of stuff. Low End Theory, arguably in my book, is one of the best rap albums. Period. Like it's pretty flawless. You can't go wrong. Like I
do love it.
I think if you, especially if you want to get into jazz rock, start at Low End Theory, because it's just
Yeah, it's a good starting point.
yeah. From that, Excursions, the stand-up bass line. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Scenario.
Well, that's the ending track, but
Well, I'm just saying, I like that one.
it's front to back, pretty amazing. And number 1
Number 1.
is
Lil Wayne.
is not. It's actually Young Jeezy. No, I'm joking.
Kanye, what?
Birdman. No, number 1 is the
Larry Bird?
Slick Rick?
yeah.
Slick Rick?
Number 1?
Nelly. No, I'm joking. Number 1 is the poet laureate of rap, the Notorious B.I.G. Biggie Smalls.
Wait, what was his title?
The poet laureate. You've never heard that expression?
No, actually. But go on.
He is. Ready to Die is a masterpiece.
I love it.
Unbelievable. I've always. He's another rapper
That's a raw album.
It
Go on.
really is.
Yeah.
Listen to a song like Juicy. What a fat bass line. Well, just sample in general. That is one of the best stories in rap in my book. You know, and like Big Papa, he combines like the commercial sounds of hip hop with a song like, you know, Big Papa or Hypnotized, very commercial songs, and then you get to a song like, you know, like you were saying, like Give Me the Loot, or I'm a big fan of Party and Bullshit. They're just fat tracks.
He was a fat guy too.
My favorite on there has and always probably will be Things Don't Change.
Yeah,
I don't know,
Things
something
Don't
about
Change.
it just...
It's a good song.
Absolutely.
Oh,
my mama got cancer of the breast. Don't tell me I'm motherfucking stressed. Things don't change. I mean...
You can't go wrong, but... So, yeah, so... To recap, my list is Eminem number 5, Method Man number 4, the RZA number 3, Q-Tip from A Tribe Called Quest and other groups number 2, and the Notorious B.I.G., Biggie Smalls. He has a billion names, but I call him number 1.
I call him Big Papa.
Because he likes it.
Yeah, he does like...
Yeah.
We're silly.
I find it interesting that we went all the way through the show and nobody mentioned Tupac.
Well, the thing about...
Ever, at any point.
No, he came up... You mentioned the feud.
I mentioned the feud because, like, the public image, like that.
Okay.
Well, I've always liked Biggie's
Me too.
music more. That's just the thing.
Tupac's fine. I like Tupac.
I like
He's good.
Tupac, all right. You know,
I like Biggie more.
But I mean, there was a lot of stuff we didn't talk about. We didn't talk about Tupac. No one mentioned Common. I mean...
Snoop Dogg,
I was thinking
Dogg,
Snoop Lion,
Dr.
whatever his name is.
I mean, Dr. Dre, The
Snoop
Chronic.
Dogg.
We have a great album there.
Yeah.
I mean...
There's so much to cover. It's such a broad...
Oh, yeah.
All I gotta say is, Ain't Nothing But a G Thing came on Sirius Radio the other day, and I was driving around, and I was rapping along. I don't know about you guys, but...
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to put the smack down.
Yeah, no one mentioned Public Enemy either.
Oh,
Yeah, I
yeah.
thought you were.
I love Public Enemy, especially the first
And-
album,
and,
Yo,
you know-
Bum Rush the Show.
And Run DMC, they were pretty good too.
But I mean, like we said, with other genres we've done so much stuff.
So much.
And we just try to give an overview. I mean,
Our personal favorites and things like that.
let us know who your favorite rappers are. Let us know about some stuff, especially some more obscure stuff
Yeah.
that you like.
We'll definitely check it out.
And check out the stuff we mentioned. Let us know what you think of it if you do that. Just let us know if you're listening. I actually didn't check the email to find out if we had any sent to us. But if we did, I'll make sure to get on them next week. So send your questions, requests, complaints to InGroove
Credit card numbers.
Is it InGroovePodcast at
Yeah.
gmail.com?
Yeah.
I believe that's what it is. That's...
Probably. Let's go with that.
I'll put the link. No, I won't put the link. I'll put the
the
address
address,
in
Right.
the description, which you
Yeah.
can find beneath this video
Yeah.
on the YouTubes, which is where this will be. So you go down there, you press the drop down tab. You're gonna have an email address. Send us emails. You'll also find all kinds of other stuff. I put links to my rap music, to our Facebook page. We don't have a Twitter, so there's no link to that.
Yeah,
If there should make it-
I don't use my Twitter anymore.
I'll make a Twitter if you'd like.
Snapchat me if you want.
Yeah, Snapchat us, send us dick pics.
Oh, no.
Ben likes babysitter porn.
No, not this! Why'd you bring this up?
You had it coming.
If we said
We
any,
had something coming.
if we made any mistakes in the show, they were probably slips of the tongue. If we said anything really, really stupid, let us know. Educate us. Other than that, if you're gonna be a rapper, pick a better name than Fife Dog. That's all I have to say.
If you rap, let us know. And
If you rap, send us your stuff and we'll review it.
Yeah.
And I rap.
Rembrandt.
Rembrandt.
When I worked at McDonald's, I rapped the food. So if you guys need, okay, that
was a pity
I'm
laugh,
on
too.
a roll tonight. Put
any
some butter
other
on me.
standing business we have to deal with, or is that about it?
I think that's about it.
I have a couple more jokes I wrote down.
Thanks again for listening. For
Yeah,
tuning
if
in.
you listened all the way through this bullshit, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Even if you skipped through
Yeah.
to certain sections, thank you. Your view is appreciated.
And let us know what you want us to talk about on the show.
So signing off. This is
Signing off,
this-
Ben
This
King.
is Ben King.
Dan Griffin.
Oh boy.
Brent Stefanic.
Our special guest, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Brett.
Oh, thanks, Dan.
Oh, he touched my knee.
And I'm Jared White. Signing out from In Groove.
Sympathy of lust. And we were
Have a
pulled through the
wonderful
cracks by our
night.
necklines. We were pulled through the cracks in the bread lines. And we're trapped in a dream. Sand, substance, and empathy. Spurn your sympathy, you go assault and battery. Crack the coat of polyester brassiere. And then the burliest men raise their hands to crack a tower. Starved in horror, but I still found you beautiful. Your vulture eye and spine found Rembrandt perched dutiful. You washed your eyes and changed your hair constantly. Forever and open doors to new responsibility. Look, I made it, it's all a damn lie. Made to sustain a delusion for our modern times. A mountain of mummy corpse of newfound femininity. Incorporating memories of all the crazy things you see. And I'm dropping for the damn hip hop that's sliding down the banisters, climbing up the pillars. And I wanna know, is this my way of drudging up the empathy? All covered in seaweed and moss and ivy. Got the puff and stuff already trained. We won't drop the brick down the sink drain. Even if cops are rapping on the motel door. When they find stool pigeon drop dead on the door. Crawling on hands and knees if you please. You don't even know what you took. And girl, my world revolved around you for about a second or two. And then the champions of Wham wrenched me up on my shoes and my laces. Doing them paces round the globe every night. Dangling member for the spaces. This is my way of trapping beauty? Or am I really just trying to disrupt continuity?
Prowling the wasteland. Now feet. Prowling the wasteland.